All right, we're back again here in the Sort of Sports Podcast, episode 166. And ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. We are finally at the NFL season. Can we just appreciate that for a second? Feels like it's been a long and hard road. We had a great NBA Finals and NBA season, but we're now finally to the biggest sports league in America and my personal favorite, the NFL. And, already drafted in some fantasy leagues, already got some guys I like, I will not say them here because, I guess this is I haven't drafted yet with my family league, but this will drop after that. So I guess I can just say I really want to get Malik Neighbors. I'd love to have Genty. I'm at the 9 spot. If I could get Neighbors and then Brock Bowers after that, that'd be cool. If Neighbors is already taken, I'm going to go Genty and then Brock Bowers. I always like to have a good tight end. Pretty much every fantasy league I've ever been in, I've always drafted Travis Kelce. And because you're in a league where you have like tight ends and you have to play a tight end, it's really valuable, to have an actual good tight end. So I always value that. But anymore, Brock Bowers is way better than Travis Kelce, so he's my new guy. But I'm not here to do fantasy football talk. I mean, we might touch on that every once in a while, but we're here for the NFL predictions. That's what we're excited about. That's what I'm pumped for. Genuinely, might be my second favorite pod of the year after the Sort of Sporties, or maybe the April Fool's pod. I always enjoy that. But let's get into the show. We are going to start off with the NFC. I think the AFC, I have a little spicier picks in, so we'll start with the NFC. We're going to lead it off with the NFC North. So full disclosure, I recorded this podcast on August 27th. It was Wednesday, August 27th. Plan to drop it 6 days later as you're listening to this. It is post Tuesday, September 2nd. That was the day I was going to post this video. And that is the day this video was posted. But I recorded this on Thursday, August 28th, because I just got word that Micah Parsons has been traded for 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle to the Dallas Cowboys. I want to make sure that was the position. The 3-time Pro Bowler. That's who it is, I think. Correct? Yeah. It's Clark is who it is. Kenny Clark, yeah. So, obviously, this changes things. Full disclosure, I had the Packers 3rd in the NFC North. That's what you're about to listen to. And I had them 9-8. I probably should take them for more. But I really like the predictions I went with. So I'm just going to keep them. If I'm terribly wrong, this year, I guess I'll have a great excuse on why I was low on the Packers, and they were good. But while Micah Parsons is one of the best defensive players in the NFL, I don't feel like reworking everything. Nor does it make me feel like obviously the Packers are better, but I'm saying I'm concerned for them offensively. I need to see Jordan Love take that step up in order to really believe in them. I like what the Vikings and Lions have more offensively anyways. So I'm fine with what I did. So I have Packers 9-8, still missing the playoffs. Does not change a thing. If you're a Packers fan, you better hope I'm wrong, because I'm really I think it was a great move. Obviously, you do this move 10 times out of 10, but offensively, I'm just not that intrigued by what the Packers are doing. So that's why I'm out. So nothing's changing. I just feel like I had to give this disclaimer. I do have the Lions winning the NFC North. I have them going 13-4 is my best guess, and I don't really know what else I need to explain here. They are the Lions. On paper, they have one of the best rosters, maybe even the best roster in the NFL. I do think Jared Goff is pretty good for them. I think Jared Goff gets a little too much crap when he does bad. People do hype him up a little too much when he does well, but I'm saying the two of them, there's only one of him, but I'm saying there's this weird thing where he gets simultaneously over and under hyped, and so I'm here to kind of balance it out and say, no, he is legitimately pretty good. So Jared Goff, I enjoy for the Lions, and I think he'll play well this season. They obviously had a heartbreaking loss in the divisional round last year. I do see them bouncing back from that. And you might be asking yourself, Ryan, didn't they have their defensive coordinator and their offensive coordinator leave the teams to go coach their own? Yes. Yes, they did. And Bill Simmons said on his pod the other day, you cannot be, Dan Campbell's not going to be worried. It's not going to change anything without Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell's just that good of a coach. He's got it. It's not a big deal. and also believe that Ben Johnson's a genius and is going to fix the Bears. Like, you kind of have to believe in one or the other. Either Ben Johnson is super important or Ben Johnson isn't super important. And I'm going to go with Ben Johnson isn't super important. I've talked before on this podcast, I think he's been overrated, and maybe I'll be proven wrong this season. Maybe the Bears will be excellent, and maybe the Lions will struggle without him offensively, but I think they're going to be fine. So I have the Lions winning the NFC North for, this will be a third year in the row for them, so props to them. Looked like the Vikings might steal it last year. I know there's a lot of hype around pretty much every team in this division, because there's an argument for the Vikings that if they play the way they played last year and J.J. McCarthy just kind of slides in and does a pretty good job, they're a real threat. A lot of people are high on the Packers. I was high on the Packers last year. I'm out on the Packers this year. I am not doing that dance again. Until Jordan Love proves me wrong, I'm not going to just hand him the keys and be like, all right, I expect you to have a big year. I'm not doing that. I'm not believing in that until I get shown something. And maybe he can show me something this season, but I'm just not ready to hand him and be like, oh, yeah, you got this. It's just not what I want to do. And then Bears obviously get a lot of hype, but I am not buying it. I don't really love their roster. I don't. And I think, DJ Moore, I think, is pretty good. I hope when you're them that Luther Burden ends up being good, because I wasn't really super impressed with Rome Odunze. We'll see if he improves this year, but like Rome Odunze and Marvin Harrison Jr., for how much hype they got, did not live up to it. Now, for what it's worth, Marvin Harrison Jr. did not have the worst season ever last year. He played pretty well. I think he was like 250 yards short of 1,000. Like, it wasn't the worst season we've ever seen, but it was nowhere near where the hype was. I mean, that guy was going 10th in fantasy drafts. So, but let's continue with the NFC North. So coming in second in the NFC North, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Full disclosure, I have it in the same order as last year: Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. Because I think this Vikings team is going to slide J.J. McCarthy in. He's going to play well, and that's kind of going to be that. I don't think J.J. is going to be incredible. I think he's going to be pretty good. And I think he'll be a system quarterback for Kevin O'Connell, and I think it'll be a dangerous team that goes 10-7. And I have them as one of the 7 playoff teams. I do think they take one of the 3 wildcard spots in the NFC. I think it's going to be a pretty good team. Defensively, they're really good. They have the best wide receiver in the NFL, Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison, once he's back from being suspended, he's going to be legit for them, obviously. TJ Hawkinson is probably a top 5 tight end, I'd say. So, yeah, it's a good team. I don't think you need to know that Sam Darnold won how many games did he win with them last year? He won 11 games with them last year. It was similar record to what I'm predicting with Sam Darnold. And I think J.J. McCarthy can just slide right in and do that too. So, all right, number 3 in this division, like I said, I have the Packers. I have them going 9-8. I'm just not buying the hype. Now, I think on paper there's a lot to like here. Offensively and defensively, they reworked their defense last year and really improved it. Obviously, Matt LaFleur is a good coach for the Packers. Jordan Love, we've all been saying, has the potential to be the next great Packers QB. I want to see it. I'm not buying into it unless I've seen it. It's kind of been my thought process going to predictions this year. I think a lot of times I get very caught up, and we saw hints of this last year. Let's see how it can be this year. And, of course, I'm doing that in my Carolina Panthers. You guys know I'm putting my Panthers in the playoffs. Let's be real. Let's not lie to each other here. But I'm trying not to do that overall. That's how I get into messes like years ago when I predicted a Broncos-Chargers Super Bowl in Herbert's 3rd season and Russell Wilson's 1st with the Broncos. I also predicted a Houston Texans over Green Bay Packers Super Bowl last year. So I'm saying I'm going off more so what I've actually seen. Now, there are still some wild takes that are completely just caught up in what could be and what if this, what if that. Justin Herbert not included in those, actually. We'll get to him later. The famous Mr. What If, but I'm not rocking with Herbert this year. But I've been trying to go off what I've seen, and based off what I've seen, I think the Vikings and Lions are a better team than the Packers, and unless Jordan Love puts its MVP numbers up, I'm just not rocking with it. So I'm saying Packers are 9-8. Pretty good team, but not the best. Bears, I have coming in 4th. I have them going 7-10. I do think there's enough talent here to win games. I don't think Caleb Williams isn't going to be the franchise QB. I mean, he'll probably throw for 4,000 yards this year, and they'll win some games, and people will be happy with them. But I don't think they're going to rock the world and be incredible. don't think they'll be that much better than the Giants. And I know that might be like a crazy hot take, and we can clip this at the end of the season and when the Bears make the playoffs. But at this moment, I don't think the Bears are a playoff team, and I think they're last in a really hard division. The NFC North is tough. If they were playing in a different division, I might feel a little differently about them. So let's move over to the NFC West. I actually think this ends up being the worst division in the NFC this year. I have the Seahawks winning it at 10-7. I struggled with this one because usually you can just kind of pencil in the Rams to win it or the Niners, but I don't really love what the Niners have done with their roster. And I know Kyle Shanahan's the man and all that, but like, I don't think you're giving Brock a lot of weapons, and unless you get a fully healthy season out of Christian McCaffrey, I don't really love their weaponry. I just find it hard to believe they're going to be as good as they were 2 years ago, offensively or defensively. I just think they've probably regressed. So I have the Seahawks winning this because Matthew Stafford, we don't know what's going on with him health-wise. We don't know how many weeks he's going to last. And even though this division has some of the best coaches in the NFL, both Wests in each conference have incredible coaches. I would say the AFC West has the best set of 4 coaches in the league. But you look at the NFC West, a lot of good coaches here. Mike McDaniel. Oh my gosh. Mike Macdonald, sorry. Mike Macdonald is probably the one that needs to prove himself. And I said before on this podcast that I don't understand why he left the Ravens, and I don't think it was a great move. But in the same sense, here I am taking the Seahawks to win the division. I don't love Sam Darnold as a starting quarterback, but he played really well with the Vikings last year. They were the 5th seed. Did they get smacked in the playoffs? Yes. But did he have them playing really well? Yeah, he did. We can't ignore the fact Sam Darnold played excellently for the Minnesota Vikings. And so for the Seahawks, I think Mike Macdonald can get 10 wins out of Darnold, Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet offensively. I think they have an underrated defense. Mike Macdonald's a defensive guy in mind. So I think they can scrape out some wins in a weird NFC West. There's a lot of just okay teams here. Because without a healthy Stafford, I can't give the Rams more than 9 wins. I have the Rams coming in second at 8. Sorry, I have the Rams coming in second at 8-9. That's what I went with, 8-9. So just a slightly losing record. If there's any team in this division that's going to shock us and win more games than it should, it is the Los Angeles Rams. If there's any team in this West that is going to surprisingly win it, even without Matthew Stafford, it would be the Los Angeles Rams. Like, they would find a way. But I'm just not going to bet on that. I'm not going to predict that. I think, taking it at face value, I like the Seahawks to win this division. Niners come in third at 7-10. Like I said, I just don't love what they did. Once again, though, Kyle Shanahan's a coach. You can't count him out. We could be sitting here and they're an 11-6 team at the end of the year. But I'm not predicting that. Fourth, I have the Cardinals at 6-11. I don't like what the Cardinals do, really. I get why they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., but unless he is incredible this year, I don't feel strongly about them, nor do I feel good about them. Actually, I feel strongly negative, I'd say. I don't think they have a good defense, and I think offensively, it's James Conner, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. These are fine weapons, but it's like a fantasy football team in real life, essentially. It's just not a fan of what the Cardinals have going on, and I don't really know how good Jonathan Gannon is as a coach. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's great. I think the Cardinals are just kind of a mid-team. I don't think they're anything special. I think it's just going to be this weird era we're going to look back at in about 5-10 years and be like, oh, yeah, remember when the Cardinals had Kyler Murray and he was supposed to be their franchise guy and they paid him all that money? It's like, yeah, it's a weird thing that happened. Like, I don't see the Cardinals ever really having that special of a season with Kyler Murray and being a Super Bowl level team with him. I think they'll always just be kind of average. I don't know. If I get proven wrong, great, but I don't see it. So I have them last in that division. Let's go to the NFC East, the division that hasn't been won by the same winner in over 10 years. This is the fun one because I actually like every team here except the Cowboys. And what's funny about the Cowboys is, on Hot Take Hotline last week's episode, both Nate and Braden had the hot take of the Cowboys winning this division. I just can't get behind it. I can't convince myself that is, I'm not doing this. So, here's the thing. This is where we need to have a talk. The commies have done every single. Okay, the Commanders have done every single thing you don't want to do after you have a great rookie quarterback season. And what I mean by that is when Baker Mayfield had an electric rookie quarterback season, the Browns went out and got Odell Beckham Jr. When C.J. Stroud had an electric rookie quarterback season, the Texans went out and got Stephon Diggs. The Commanders went out and got Deebo Samuel. Guess what? Those other two examples, they didn't work. They did not work. The team actually regressed and got worse. The Commanders did the same thing. So I get why people are out on the commies. Everybody seems to be out on the commies this year. There's people predicting them to miss the playoffs. Oh, they're an older team. They're not going to convert on fourth down as much as they did last year. And all of these things are true. But there's a part of me that just thinks we're going to be sitting here week 6 and the commies are 4-1 and you're like, well, shit. You're like, I knew this team was good. They were good last year. Jayden Daniels was awesome last year. And they went to the NFC Championship with a rookie quarterback. Why did I not think they were going to be good? And I know all the signs are pointing that I shouldn't believe in this team. And I shouldn't take the commies to win the NFC East. But I'm going to do it anyway. I just can't stop myself. Because what if Jayden Daniels is legitimately that good? Because I think that's what you're betting on. You're essentially saying, is Jayden Daniels going to have a normal sophomore slump? Or is Jayden Daniels legitimately that Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes level guy? Is he going to break through and be that 5th quarterback who's just absolutely special in this league? And I guess I'm betting on him being that. I think I more so just want to zag because everybody's zigging. And I'm going to commit. So I'm taking the commies to win the NFC East and go 12-5. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. I don't love the Deebo Samuel signing, but they extended Terry McLaurin. And yeah, I think about that victory against the Lions in the NFC Divisional. And I'm like, what if Jayden Daniels is just that damn good? What if he is that damn special? I don't want to bet against that. I just don't. So that's why I'm winning the division. Second in the division, and also a playoff team, I do have the Philadelphia Eagles. I have them going 11-6. I have them taking one of the wild card spots. Super Bowl winning team. They did get a little worse. I forget who it is they lost that stood out when I was reading it. But obviously the core pieces are still there. Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter, all there defensively, offensively, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Saquon, H.A. Brown, Devontae Smith. Yeah, the whole gang's here. They're going to be a Super Bowl contender again. The only reason I don't have them winning division is because I think every Super Bowl team is going to suffer a little bit of the hangover, right? Right? Come on. So, third in this division, I have the New York Giants. The New York Giants might end up being one of the most fun teams to watch in football this year. I'm being serious. Like, there is a lot of fun stuff to watch the New York Giants for. If Cam Skattebo is your starting running back and Jackson Dart ends up being the starter by like week 7, I'm watching this team every week. I'm interested. Because there's some real Jackson Dart hype. And who knows if he's going to live up to it. He's probably not going to start till at least like week 5, 6, or 7. But I really like what the Giants have defensively. Dexter Lawrence and Abdul Carter, Sexy Dexty and Abdul Carter on the same team. That's going to be nasty. It's going to be gross. And if Dart can come in, kind of make people go, oh, wait a minute, is this our franchise guy? Then it sets up for a really fun 2026 Giants season. I know we're not even starting the 2025 season. I'm talking about Giants 2026. But I'm saying the Giants could be a really fun watch this year. It's also a team that Brian Daboll needs to have a good season to keep his job. Maybe the GM too, honestly, at this point. So everybody in that building knows they got to get shit done. And sometimes that leads to awful seasons, like the Jets last year. Other times that leads to some really good seasons because the target's on their back. Like Arch Manning said, target's not on our back. We get the red dot and everybody else. That was actually a badass quote. I got to give him credit on that. That was pretty sweet. I don't know if him and his agent like talked about that, but like either way, it was, that was pretty cool. I think the Giants were really fun. They're not making the playoffs or anything. Still losing record 7-10. But I feel like everybody in New York's like, hell yeah, like we played well. They're gonna have a big win where they upset somebody on like primetime. They have a primetime game. I'm sure they have like one or two. They are the New York Giants, and people are like pumped about Dart and Scadaboo going in next year. They had a really fun draft. All of the guys they drafted made their 53-man roster. Really fun draft for the New York Giants. And I mean, Scadaboo, Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart, that's a fun trio to get out of draft. And I'm sure they got other guys, since they all made the roster, that are interesting that I don't know because I'm not like a diehard Giant fan or anything. But I'm going to go watch this team a lot. Once Russell Wilson gets benched, I'm locked in for throwing lung darts, right? You know, that's the thing about Jackson Dart. You can use the dart emoji, or you can use the cigarette emoji. I think it was Joe House pointed that out on Bill Simmons' podcast. I'm like, that's an excellent point. So I have the Giants third in the NFC East. I have the Cowboys last in the NFC East. 6-11. Just not excited about what this roster has at all. I get Dak Prescott puts up big numbers. I don't like watching him play. I don't think he's great. I think he's like Kyler Murray level good in my mind, where, yeah, he's your franchise quarterback, but you're not pumped about it. I think Pickens might not be on this team by midseason. Most Steelers wide receivers don't do well when they leave like that. CeeDee Lamb's still great, no doubt about that. Defensively, it's just Micah Parsons, and he wants to leave anyways. So I don't like what the Cowboys have going at all. I'm completely out on them. So I have them 6-11 and fourth in division. Let's get over to the NFC South. Keep in mind we have one wild card spot left. I have the Bucs winning this division 11-6. The Bucs would be the sneaky Super Bowl contender in my mind. I know it sounds crazy, but I mean it. And part of this, I'm a Baker Mayfield lover. But the other thing is, like, defensively, they might have a top 5 defense. Offensively, they probably have a top 5 offensive line. They still have Mike Evans, who always gets that 1,000 yards. Chris Godwin's going to be back. Emeka Egbuka is going to be a great rookie receiver for them. There's a lot of hype around him, and I'm buying it. I really am. I think Egbuka is going to do really well for the Bucs. And I don't think losing Liam Cohen's going to hurt him that much. I think they know what they're doing in that building. Bucky Irving's going to continue to run the ball, and it's going to be a fun team. I think 11 wins sounds about right for this team. And if there was a team that just got hot around playoff time and ended up making it to the NFC Championship or maybe even the Super Bowl on a whim, it would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm really excited about this Tampa Bay season. I think they're going to be a really good team and fun to watch. And they're gonna upset a team that underrates them and doesn't think they're that good, and they're going to take care of business. So I think the Bucs win the NFC South. Second, though, in the NFC South, I have my Carolina Panthers, baby. I mean, come on. I got the Carolina Panthers. We went 5-12 last year. People act like we won 2 games. Like, we were not that awful last year. We were early on. Whew. I mean, I was on this pod saying Bryce Young need to be getting, like, bench him and just tank and get Cam Ward or Shador. And we've come a long way from those talks. Because I'm excited about this season. I think Tedero McMillan is going to be a legitimate number 1 for us. And it does stink we just traded Thielen away today. I was not excited about that. But it shows the organization has a lot of faith in Jalen Coker. And Jalen Coker has been really impressive. So last year, Jalen Coker was good. Like, legit good. So maybe Jalen Coker can do that again this year. So if your top 3 are Tedero McMillan, Jalen Coker, and Xavier Legette, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Jatavion Sanders got to get going at tight end. He had some moments last year. I was like, oh, yeah. And then we got Chuba Hubbard, who is an underrated fantasy running back. Chuba Hubbard's good. So I'm excited about seeing Chuba Hubbard again. I have him in a fantasy league, and I'm like, hell yeah, love having him. Chuba Hubbard's legitimately a good running back. Like, no question in my mind. He's legit good. So excited for the Panthers season. I think this is year Bryce Young completely proves he is franchise QB, and I think we're going to surprise people by how good we are. I don't think 10-7 is an electric record. I think it's surprising to some people. To me, it feels about right. Double the wins of last year. I like Dave Canales a lot. I like what he's done with Carolina. This is his second season there. I felt like we had a really good draft. Once again, we got some UDFAs that made the 53-man roster, and like, honestly, like that seems to be like the Panthers' new bread and butter. Like, Dan Morgan like loves doing that. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He was a defensive player. Panthers, oh my gosh, it's just slipping my mind. Yeah, because we had like 19 UDFAs, and like one of them made the 53-man roster. What was his name? Corey Thornton, the corner from Louisville. He made the 53-man roster. And There's been some hype around him. Obviously, defensively, we still have Derek Brown, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So, just stoked about this Panther season. I'm excited to watch us. If you're in a Survivor League, just take us to beat the Jaguars week 1. I'm being serious. Just take us to beat the Jaguars week 1. We are going to manhandle the Jaguars. I have no doubt in my mind on that. So I think the Panthers are going to have a great season. I think we're going to shock a lot of people. And I think we're going to make the playoffs. And we're going to take that final wild card spot in the NFC. So I'm very excited for this Panthers season. Cannot wait to watch Carolina Panthers. We're watching every game. Like always, and I'm excited to watch Panthers. I feel way more sure of the Panthers than I did last year. I was really hoping for a great season last year, and then we disappointed me so much. This year, I'm just I'm ready. I'm stoked. I believe in what we're doing. I believe in Bryce Young. He's my wallpaper on my computer now. I'm just totally bought in to what the Panthers are doing, and I think you should be too. I think they're really going to have a great season. So, yeah. Carolina Panthers going to the playoffs. Coming in third, we have the Falcons, who I have going 9-8. I actually think the Falcons will be a good team this year. I think Penix is going to be pretty good, but not incredible. The thing is, the Falcons, you're just betting on the weapons, right? Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts. Oh my gosh, Kyle Pitts. I think we're done with Kyle Pitts. He's just not that good. My one friend who's a Falcons fan, got drafted him in fantasy again, and I'm like, dude, we just got to stop at this point. It's over. This is year 5. It's over. So, yeah, we're done with Kyle Pitts, and we're done. I feel bad for all the Dynasty League guys who, started the Dynasty in 2021 and, probably drafted Kyle Pitts, first 2 rounds. It's brutal. Just brutal. But I have Falcons 9-8. Maybe they could be worse. I'm not going to lie. If Penix comes in and is just deep ball bombing at Jameis Winston style, that's going to be a fun team to watch, but it's not going to be a team that's great. I like their coach. I don't love their coach. We'll have to see what he does in year 2. I'm intrigued to see what this team looks like, but I don't think they're going to be a surprise playoff team or anything. I think the Panthers showed me more last year to make me believe that they're going to be a playoff team than the Falcons last year. And I think some people would argue me on that. I'm definitely biased. I'm a Panthers fan, but I'm also saying the Falcons last year, obviously Kirk Cousins had a bad year for them, so that made them look worse than they are. But on top of that, I just feel the way they ended the season and everything, I almost think they got worse, if that makes sense. I don't know if I can really back that. We should pull up the Falcons' schedule from last year, because it just felt like they got worse as the season went on. They ended the season. Well, I remember they lost to us in the final game in overtime. Yeah, so they lost to my Panthers final game. They lost to the Commies the week before. Then they smacked the Giants 34-7. Beat the Raiders 15-9. But then before that, they lost to the Vikings 42-21. They lost to the Chargers 17-13. They lost to the Broncos 38-6, and they lost to the Saints 20-17. Now that was November 10th when that played, so about halfway through the season. But they started off the season with a loss to the Steelers, and then won 5 of the next 7? Is that what that is? 5 of the next 7? So they went on a bit of a streak, and then they kind of, But I'm just not high on the Falcons. I know some people are. I'm not. So I have the Saints at last. This will probably be one of the worst teams in football. I have them going 4-13. I'm sure Kellen Moore is going to get another year at head coach there. I don't think they'll just kick him to the curb after 1 year. But goodness, it's gonna be rough for him. It's gonna be rough. So good luck to Kellen Moore, because I think Spencer Rattler is listed as their starter for week 1. That's bad. That's bad. So this Saints seems to be bad. I'm gonna watch them 2 games this year when they play the Panthers. That's it. Let's switch over to the AFC. Well, I guess I should say for the NFC, that means your division winners are the Lions, the Commies, the Bucks, and the Seahawks, and then your wildcard teams in order are the Eagles as the 5th seed, the Vikings as the 6th seed, and the Panthers as the 7th seed. Let's go over to the AFC. Let's start with the AFC North. For a while there, AFC North, clearly the best division in the AFC. I do not think that is the case anymore. I do have the Ravens winning it at 11-6. I think it's exactly what they did last year. Maybe they went 12-5, but I'm going to check that real quick. Ravens records last season. They went 12-5 last year. So I have one game worse this year. Maybe they could go 12-5 again. I mean, the Ravens are good. I don't feel any differently about them. They got a good coach, John Harbaugh. They have Lamar Jackson. They have Derrick Henry. The defense will be pretty good. They re-signed Kyle Hamilton. This is a good team. Mark Andrews gets worse every year, though. That's my only concern. So that's it. Okay. It's like year 7, Mark Andrews, I want to say. Somewhere in that range. Whatever. That's Ravens. I have the Ravens winning this. There's some Ravens Super Bowl hype. I'm just not with it. I just think the Bills are better. I get on paper that the Ravens look better. But like Josh Allen to me right now is clearly the best quarterback in the league. And the Bills have a pretty good team around him. Like nobody really that special. I'd say the second best player offensively is James Cook. Who's not like, whoa, James Cook, but he's pretty good. But it just feels like the Bills get it done. Like it just feels like they just get it done. I don't know how to explain. Like I fully believe they were going to beat the Chiefs last year in the AFC Championship, like, with all my heart. And even though the Ravens might be better on paper, I just think the Bills are better. So that's my thought. Like if you're not taking the Chiefs to win the AFC, I feel like it's Bills in my mind. 2 is the Bengals at 9-8. I just don't like what the Bengals are doing, and they're always a Joe Burrow injury away from being screwed. I 100% don't want that because I love Joey B. Joey B could have an MVP level season if this team somehow makes the playoffs. Like I genuinely think he could win the MVP if he gets his team to the playoffs. But I am not going to bet on that because they're essentially the souped-up Cowboys, where it's a quarterback, 2 good receivers, and a DN. The only difference here is that Joe Burrow is much better than Dak Prescott. Jamar and T. Higgins are better than CD and George Pickens. And while Micah Parsons is better than Trey Hendrickson, at least Trey Hendrickson wants to be with the Bengals. So I have Bengals 9-8. I do have them missing the playoffs. I couldn't get there with them. I think every year that passes by, I just think, was that Super Bowl their only shot? Like, was Joe Burrow's only shot to win the Super Bowl 2021? And maybe in 2022, right, they win that AFC Championship. They go to face the Eagles. Maybe then. But ever since then, like in 2023, he was injured. 2024, they came close, but no cigar. I just don't see him bouncing back in 25. A friend of mine's a Bengals fan, and it broke my heart today when I told him I didn't make the playoffs. He was like, really? Are you serious? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. Just don't. And I don't think Zach Taylor's bad, but I don't think he's great either. I think if they miss the playoffs again this year, there's a chance they just say, Zach Taylor, we're done. I do. All right, that was really down. Wow, that was really a downer. Third in the AFC North, I have the Steelers. I have the Steelers going 9-8. I would like to put them 8-9. I just don't want to bet on Tomlin losing his streak. I just don't. Maybe I should just put 8-8-1. But gosh, what is there to say about the Steelers? Well, I don't like what they did this offseason. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to do very well as their starter. I take it back that I was saying that Jalen Warren would be a good fantasy pickup. He's doing like a dual running back thing with the rookie running back they drafted, Caleb Johnson. So just be aware of that. Maybe draft both. I don't know. But I don't think this team's going to be very good. Arthur Smith wants to run the football, and they got Aaron Rodgers who wants to pass the football. And Mike Tomlin's a great coach. But sometimes I think maybe Mike Tomlin's in an Andy Reid situation where like a change of scenery would just prove to everybody how damn good he is. It's like maybe Mike Tomlin needs to leave Pittsburgh and go somewhere else. Maybe that's it. Maybe Mike Tomlin needs to become the coach of the Bengals next year. Who knows? I don't like what they did this offseason, and I'm just not a fan. I don't like what they did. I don't like the Jalen Ramsey, Minka Fitzpatrick trade. I don't like what the hell was that about? Like I think Minka might be better. uh, Whatever. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of what they did. I don't like what they have going on. Fourth, I have the Browns. I have them 5-12. I think this team will be bad, but not as bad as people are acting. I don't. I'd love to see my boy Shador start. I think he's currently listed as quarterback 3. He's going to have to work his way up. But, yeah. What is there to say about the Browns? Joe Flacco will win them a game or two where you're like, oh, they shouldn't have won that, but he got it done. But they just don't have a lot of talent. They don't. They don't have a lot of talent. That's really it. Like, wide receiver 1's Jerry Jeudy. Wide receiver 2 is that one guy they signed. I forget his name. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't watch the Browns. AFC West. And this is the division I think is the best in football. It also has the best 4 coaches: Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, and Sean Payton. I mean, probably all those guys are going in the Hall of Fame. Maybe not Harbaugh for the NFL Hall of Fame. Probably not Canton for Harbaugh, unless he would win a Super Bowl or 2 with the Chargers. So, AFC West though, this is where things get a little interesting because I'm committing to the idea that the Denver Broncos are going to win this division. That's right, baby. I'm taking the Denver Broncos to go 12-5. I'm doing it. I'm believing in this Broncos team. I feel like they got better on both sides of the ball. I'm excited to see R.J. Harvey play. Draft him in fantasy. I think he's going to be good for them. Bo Nix was legit great last year. No way of questioning that. And I don't see him really ever being an MVP-level talent, but I see him being pretty good in the system they have. And I think they have a system set up for him to succeed. And I think he will. So I have them going 12-5 and winning this division. I think the Broncos are going to be a really fun team this year. I'm going to have to go out of my way to watch some Broncos football this year because I legitimately think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. They have a great coach. Bo Nix was legit good last year. I don't love their wide receivers. I must admit, I don't love their receivers at all. Or Evan Ingram, their tight end. I don't like those. I don't think, I'm not high on that. But running backs is apparently what Sean Payton says he believes in. It's R.J. Harvey, and then I think Benson's with them now. I think Benson left. Did Benson leave the Cardinals? Is that how that works? Trey Benson, is that his name, from Oregon? Yep. No, he's still in the Cardinals. Why did I think he was the Broncos for some reason? I was like, no way. He was a third-round pick. Why would the Cardinals just let him go? Sorry about that. But I believe in what the Broncos are doing. I'm not going to lie. I think they think they're a Super Bowl caliber team, and I legitimately think they might play like one this year. And so, credit's due. I mean, here's the thing. Think in your mind right now. Ask yourself, what was the Broncos' record last year? Okay, think about it. You ready? If you said 10-7, you were correct. I'm willing to bet if you didn't say 10-7, you thought of a lesser number because you didn't realize that they were that good last year. They were the 7th seed. They went 10-7. They were a good team. So I think they got better. Year 2 Bo Nix, I don't think he was super explosive last year, flashy. I don't see him having a massive regression. And they didn't make the classic mistake of trying to add too much offensively. So, I mean, technically they're the opposite of the commies. Maybe I should be out on the commies. Everybody's out on the commies, so I hate to be that guy. I hate to do it too. I'm basically just doing it to be different, for being honest, believing in the commies. But I have the Broncos winning the AFC West, and I legitimately believe this. Coming in at number 2 in the AFC West, you got to put the Chiefs in here, right? So I have them going 11-6. I have them making the playoffs and taking a wild card spot. It's the Chiefs. Congrats to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Coming in 3rd in the AFC West are the Chargers. Okay. Longtime listeners of this podcast have known me to be a massive Justin Herbert fan. I've had entire episodes where I went on for long, long times and soliloquied about my love for Justin Herbert and how great he was. And there were times where that was completely true. Justin Herbert completely impressed me and enthralled me with his ability to quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers. But those times have ended. A few weeks ago, I announced to some of my friends, and I think I hinted at it on the pod, that I was done with Justin Herbert. I was through with it. It was over. I have been disappointed too many times. I've defended him, I believed in him, and I've predicted him to win consistently. And every time, he doesn't live up to the hype. Now, last year I had to make the playoffs, and they did. What did he do in the playoffs? Disappoint. Now I want to state, they are playing the Baltimore Ravens, a team that is better, with a better quarterback, and probably a better coach. I was still not impressed with Justin Herbert's play. I just wasn't. Now, what's weird is, right after I said, I was out, I'm done. Wait a minute. I take this back. I'm thinking about this. I had to check myself. They didn't play the Ravens. They played the Texans. A Texans team that wasn't as good as they were the year before. And Justin Herbert disappointed me. They got smacked, like 32. I think I just looked at the scores, 32-12. I don't know why I thought it was Ravens. My bad. They could have won that game. The Texans were beatable. They smacked the shit out of the Chargers. And Herbert did not play well. I remember that now. What's funny is, after I announced how I was through with Justin Herbert, news about him drops. Maybe the most interesting news since him being drafted, honestly, like for the entirety of his NFL career. Justin Herbert is now rumored to be dating Madison Beer. Well-known singer. Big celebrity for Justin Herbert to date. Now, there's been people now reigniting their belief in Justin Herbert because now he has to ball out, right? He's essentially, like dating, I think she does modeling too. Basically he's dating a model that also sings. It's a big deal. Lots of men, both normal people and celebrities, would love to be with Madison Beer. Herbert is going to have to ball out. And when she was at that Chargers game, he played excellently. He cooked the Broncos that game. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. At some point in life, you have to make the choice. Turn around and change your ways. Just like that friend who drafted Kyle Pitts again. He needs to change his ways. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore, Herb. Back when I was single, he was the wallpaper on my lock screen. You can read into that however you'd like. But I'm through with it. Madison Beer is now there to love him and defend him because I have retired. Now, in this closet behind me, there sits a Justin Herbert shirt ski. I will probably still rock that. I do not hate Justin Herbert. But our love affair has ended. Drake May is what I believe Justin Herbert was supposed to be. And if Drake May plays the way I believe he's going to this season, he will have fulfilled all my dreams that Justin Herbert could never have. Now, Drake May has been dating the same girl since 5th grade, so he isn't going to date a model/singer. But that's okay. Because at the end of the day, if he wins 10 games, that's really, that matters more to me. So, that is all I have to say about the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert is no longer considered one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. And if he has an MVP season and the Chargers win a Super Bowl, that is the only way I will come back. Because if that happens, that means he did it for me. You remember that. It's for me. It's not for Madison Beer. It's for me. If he wins the Super Bowl and is like an MVP level this season, it's for me. I am predicting the Chargers to miss the playoffs and go 9-8. They'll lose some game stupidly to a shittier team, and that'll be the reason they don't make the playoffs. Just a little win where they just kind of fucked up at the end. That'll be the reason they miss the playoffs. I have the Los Angeles Chargers missing the playoff in the year of our Lord, 2025. In fourth place in the AFC West, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, whenever you get a new coach that's actually competent, feels like you can always just chalk them in for a few more wins. I think the Raiders will be a fun team this year. They have great weapons. You're essentially just waiting on them to get a franchise quarterback. So I have them going 9-8, which is the same record as the Chargers. Huh, look at that. And, yeah, this is a really good division. I mean, this division would eclipse 40 wins if what I predict happens. So it's a really good division. If combined, they eclipse, 40 wins. That's impressive. That means they're probably the best division in the league. And I think this is the best division in the league. So, yeah, I have the Raiders going 9-8, tying the Chargers for last place. Let's go over to the AFC East. I have the Bills as the number one seed in the AFC with a record of 13-4. I haven't winning this division. Guys, at some point, it's going to happen, right? I do think they've been dancing around being the best team in the league. I don't think they made any moves that made them that much better this offseason. I'm not going to lie. But Josh Allen took a level up last year, won the MVP, and just really impressed me. It felt like they got worse, and somehow he got so much better it didn't matter, that they were actually a better team. If defensively they can improve and Josh Allen can somehow get more out of those receivers, even though he's doing as much as he can already, this is a Super Bowl level team. And there are a few guys in this league that can have wide receiver threes that you don't even know of. You don't even know. Like, I know a lot of the Bills receivers, I'm not going to lie. You know, Genevieve is a diehard Bills fan. But I'm saying if the casual fan, like every single casual NFL fan can name Josh Allen. They know who Josh Allen is. They do. Everybody knows Josh Allen. He's like one of the biggest names in the league. I don't think the casual NFL fan can name you a receiver for the Bills right now. I'm being serious. I don't think they know Khalil Shakir. I don't think they know Dawson Knox. I don't think they know. They definitely don't know Josh Palmer. He just got there. Maybe they know Gabe Davis. Isn't Gabe Davis back in the roster? I'm saying that's impressive. That's Mahomes shit. That's what Mahomes can do. You know what he wins games of. He got Kadarius Toney a Super Bowl. He was on the roster for that, right? I'm not imagining that. Yeah, I think he was. But I'm saying Josh Allen is at that level, and that's bananas. But it's the truth. So I'm taking the Bills to be the best team in the AFC and win the AFC East. Second in the AFC East, I have the Patriots. I have them going 10-7. I just couldn't talk myself out of this. Mike Vrabel is a good coach. We know that. I have him predicted to win Coach of the Year. I really like Drake May. You guys know I think he is really impressive. I really like what he does. And I loved the draft they had. I think Will Campbell is going to be a franchise offensive tackle for them and always be good. Travion Henderson is an absolute steal. It's just the Nick Chubb, Sony Michel thing all over again, except instead of the Patriots getting Sony Michel and the Browns getting Nick Chubb, it was the reverse because it was the thing where they drafted running backs from the same school, and it was the Browns and the Patriots, but now the Patriots got the good one and the Browns got the bad one. Because I think Travion Henderson's going to kill it. And I know there's hype around him in your fantasy league, and guess what? I think he's going to live up to it. I think he's going to be running back one for the Patriots within the first few weeks. I think he's going to kill it for the Patriots. Defensively, I don't like what they have going on, but granted, Mike Vrabel always seems to get defenses to play pretty well. So I have the Patriots winning 10 games and being a playoff team. They're going to be one of the playoff teams. Third, I have the Jets at 6-11. This team will not be terrible. It is not going to be a great team. It's not going to be terrible, though. There's going to be signs of life with the Jets. I don't know if they'll stick with Justin Fields the whole season, but Aaron Glenn will get them to win games that they shouldn't. He will find a way to win. I believe in Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to be a good coach for the Jets. It might take him a little bit to get the team in a good direction. Might take a few seasons, but I think off rip, Aaron Glenn is going to do a good job with the New York Jets. Fourth in this division, I have the Dolphins at 4-13. Mike McDaniel's probably going to be the first coach fired this season. Unless the Giants are really bad, I think Mike McDaniel's going to be the first coach fired, and I don't think the Dolphins are going to be good at all. I think there's a lot going on there that's just a mess. That organization is having a lot of problems, and I don't believe in them. I have them going 4-13 and not being good. Who knows if Tua is going to be healthy? I don't even know if Tyreek Hill cares anymore. I just don't like what the Dolphins have going on. It's crazy to think they were a Super Bowl contender just 2 years ago. So, next up, we have the AFC South. And this is where things get wild because I have 2 playoff teams here. I have the Texans winning this division 11-6. Don't think I need to explain it. I debated making them not win the division. The thing is with the Texans is if C.J. Stroud can play the way he played his rookie year, they're a Super Bowl contender. There's no doubt about that. We have to find out this season, is C.J. Stroud the guy he was in year 1 or C.J. Stroud the guy he was in year 2? Because one of those is the real C.J. Stroud. It's one of those 2 seasons. I'm fascinated to find out which one it is because it will change the entire league, how good he is this year. Him and Jayden Daniels both have really interesting seasons this year because if Jayden Daniels shows us he's legit like that level of talent, he's an MVP level talent, that changes the league. That makes them perennial contenders. And if C.J. Stroud is the same thing, that makes the Houston Texans perennial contenders. Whereas if C.J. Stroud is who he was last year, again this year, okay, he's a good franchise quarterback. Maybe they can win a Super Bowl with him, but he's not that upper echelon Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, like we thought he might be. Him and Jayden Daniels both on the line this year. I only think one of them is going to be that guy. And you guys know last year I walked into the season super excited about C.J. Stroud, thought he was going to be potentially the best quarterback in the NFL last year, and he wasn't. He just flat out wasn't. He was disappointing. Could it be that he's back to that way this year? I'm not betting on it. I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be that heavy MVP level talent that he was his rookie year. I had the Texans 11-6, a very good team, but not like a true contender. My hottest take of all is that the Tennessee Titans will win 10 games this year and make the playoffs. I know this is crazy. I know there's a chance they legitimately become or last in their division. I understand this. But I think Cam Ward is going to be good there. Like we're getting a lot of positive buzz about him in Tennessee. Like a lot. And it's the kind of stuff you heard about Jayden Daniels last year. And at some point you got to pay attention to that. And we've seen rookie quarterbacks now for back-to-back seasons just come in and kill it. Is he this year's guy to just come in and kill it? Dart kind of comes in, is pretty fun for the Giants, but he's not the starter off rip. But Cam is starter off rip and just starts cooking dudes. I think there's a real chance that he is legit off the rip because he is a good offensive line. The Titans have a good O-line, and a lot of rookie quarterbacks don't get that. He's going to have that. I don't hate his receivers. I think Calvin Ridley is a really valuable pick in fantasy football. I'm really going to try to get him in my fantasy league where we draft this weekend with my family. This is all pre-recorded. I'm recording this like a week before this is going to drop. That's why when I say this weekend, I'm talking about the first weekend of college. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, I predicted that. I thought that Texas was going to beat Ohio State. So you're listening to this, you know what happened. So did Arch look good? Well, who knows? Speaking of Arch, we'll talk about the Colts here in a bit. But the Titans, I legitimately think are going to make the playoffs. I think this is the shock team this year that comes out of nowhere and is good. I don't love Brian Callahan. I don't know if I believe in him being a great coach, but I think they kind of have 2021 Bengals energy, and that Cam Ward is going to just completely elevate this team, and they're going to win more games than they should. Teams are going to underrate them, and then poof, they're in the playoffs. Now, are they going to go far in the playoffs? Hell no. But it's going to be a surprising team that comes in and shocked. People are shocked, but I won't be. I'll be like, I had the Titans make the playoffs. It's crazy. So that's my hot take for this year. My hottest of takes is that the Tennessee Titans will be a playoff team. Cam Ward, Rookie of the Year, obviously. Third in this division, I have the Jaguars 7-10. Now, granted, there's an argument that this is the shock team this year, that the Jaguars are incredible. I'm not buying it. I think they'll be, I think 7-10 is about right. They'll be in a weird spot. They don't know. They want to keep Trevor Lawrence. They want to keep Liam Cohen. Who knows? I don't have much to say about Jaguars. I'm just not into it. I'm really not. I don't like what they have going on at all. I just don't like that. They have good. I think Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter are good. It's about where that ends, right? I don't think Liam Cohen will be a bad coach. I don't. But like Braden was in on this team. I'm out. I'm Tennessee. Tennessee's the one that I think is the shock team. I have the Colts last in the AFC South. I think the Colts will be the worst team in the league this year, have the number one pick, and take Arch Manning. I said it before on a podcast, and that was before the Anthony Richardson being benched for Daniel Jones thing. Now that happens, I'm fully believing that the Colts are going to be bad this year. get the number 1 pick, and take Arch Manning. And I'm sure the Manning family is very excited about that because they don't want him in New Orleans. They want him in Indianapolis, where Peyton used to play. And I think he would leave college early if it meant he was going to be a Colt. And, I think the Colts are going to be bad this year, and I think Arch Manning is who they're targeting. And that's who they'll end up getting. So that's my belief. Colts will be the Arch Manning team. So, all right. Let's get into the AFC seeding for the playoffs. So the number 1 seed, who gets the bye in the first week of the playoffs, the Bills, and then it goes Broncos, Ravens, Texans as your division winners, and then 5 seed Chiefs, 6 seed Patriots, 7 seed Titans. So let's do the playoffs. For the AFC, in the wild card, we have the Broncos taking on the Titans. This is a 2-7 matchup. I take the Broncos here. Ravens facing the Patriots, the 3-6 matchup. I have the Ravens winning. And then the Chiefs facing the Texans, 5-4 matchup. I have the Chiefs winning this. Going to the divisional, that gives us Ravens versus Broncos. I have the Ravens getting the win here. And then Bills versus Chiefs. This is where the Bills finally get that win over the Chiefs. They then played the Ravens in the AFC Championship, and I have the Bills beating them. I think this would be an awesome AFC Championship. Lamar versus Josh Allen. Oh my gosh, 2 quarterbacks. Like, you're like, at that point, you're like, oh my gosh, like one of these guys is going to go to their first Super Bowl. Just, that would be awesome. So I have Bills versus Ravens, and I do have the Bills getting the victory. Bills going to the Super Bowl. NFC wild card round. We got the number 2 Commies versus the number 7 Panthers. I have the Commies ending the Panthers season here. It was a great run for my Carolina Panthers. Then I have the number 3 Bucks versus the number 6 Vikings. I have the Bucks winning here. I think the Bucks will win a playoff game. I have the number 4 Seahawks versus number 5 Eagles. I take the Eagles over the Seahawks. Go to the divisional. Commies versus Bucks. I got the Commies. Lions versus Eagles. I got the Lions. This gives us an NFC Championship, a rematch of last year's divisional matchup between the Commies and the Lions. I think the Lions get them back and go to the Super Bowl. That gives us a Bills versus Lions Super Bowl. This is America's Super Bowl. Like, these are the 2 most popular teams in the league. I literally was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was like, yeah, like, my favorite team's the Lions. And I'm like, really? Like, how'd that happen? She's like, well, they're just good, and they have, like, cool uniforms. And I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. Like, the Lions being known as, like, oh, yeah, they're just good. Like, 5 years ago, they were known as being, like, a shithole. Like, it's just crazy. Like, they've become, like, one of the premier teams in the league. Them and the Bills both. So, Bills versus Lions, Super Bowl 60. I still have the prediction that Sabrina Carpenter will be the halftime show. I called that back in February. I still think it's going to be her. I really do. But I'm taking the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Josh Allen breaks through, coming off an MVP last year, wins Super Bowl this year. And everybody just kind of announces that they think he is the best quarterback in the league at this point. And that's going to be pretty sweet. Super Bowl in San Francisco. Sabrina Carpenter playing Espresso at the halftime show. Probably some songs off her new album, too. She may be man's best friend, but Josh Allen is going to be the best quarterback in the league. That, I thought I was doing something clever there, but I failed. That was really bad. So, Josh Allen wins Super Bowl. Obviously, Super Bowl MVP, Josh Allen, all that, right? Let's get into the NFL awards. As I said, I have Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel. I think Comeback Player of the Year, it's a lock. It's Aiden Hutchinson. They have this new Protector of the Year thing, Best O-Lineman. Probably be Sewell or Lane Johnson, right? Probably Penei Sewell, Lane Johnson, one of those two. But Defensive Rookie of the Year, I think it's obviously going to be Abdul Carter. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I think it's obviously going to be Cam Ward. There is a chance Travis Hunter is both of those, which is bonkers, but I'm not betting on that. Defensive Player of the Year, I think it'll be Hutchinson. I think he was going to win it last year. He's on pace too. And then I got her. I think he gets back this year, gets it done. Honestly, congrats to Patrick Surtain, because like people don't talk about the fact he won Defensive Player of the Year last year, and he deserved, like, he had a great season. It's like props to him. For the Broncos, because I think there's some people who don't even realize what team he plays for. He plays for the Broncos. For MVP, I have Jaden Daniels. If I'm going to believe in the fact that the Commies are going to go 12-5 and be a Super Bowl contender, I have to go all the way and believe the fact that Jaden Daniels is going to be that guy. So I have to kind of, again, you can't do that and not bet on that, right? Like, you kind of have to do it like that. So that's why I did it that way. It was like, well, I can't not give it to him then. You know what I mean? So, okay. That's it. We just record. Wow, that's sad. It's over. I really love recording this podcast. This is like, I tossed and turned about putting the Titans in the playoffs like all night. I had them out, and then like in the middle of the night, I was like, no. And I like pulled out my phone, was thinking about it. I was like, no, put it back, went back to sleep. Then the day at lunch, I'm talking to RJ, and he's like, dude, the Chargers, like, this is going to be Herbert's year. And I think he was just mostly kidding because he knows I'm Alan Herb. And I was like, you know what? Just for that. And I pulled out my phone, and I put in Chargers 9-8, deleted. I had them at 10-7. And I made the Titans, who had a 9-8, 10-7. And I'm like, Titans are making the playoffs instead of them. He's like, you're not serious. I'm like, I am. I am so out on Herbert now. I don't hate the guy. I'm just done. I'm through. I didn't mean for that to be a reference to that song. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not with it with this year with Herb. Good luck to him and his dating adventures. But it was really funny. He was wearing a leg sleeve on the date. That was pretty funny. So, okay. I think that's it. That was the pod. Lot of crazy predictions. No Bengals in the playoffs. No Chargers in the playoffs. No Niners in the playoffs. No Rams in the playoffs. Not that those are all crazy. I mean, only 2 of those teams made the playoffs last year, but I am saying no Packers in the playoffs. Like, those are some popular picks. Make the playoffs. And I was really, really spicing it up. So, if you're going to gamble, don't do it on my account. Don't place a bet on the Titans to make the playoffs just because I said so. I don't want to be the reason you lose money. Let you be the reason you lose money. You do that on your own accord. I might put like $5 on the Titans making the playoffs. You know, that's probably good value. I'm sure it's a crazy take. Maybe just $1, honestly. But I do believe that there's a real chance it happens. So, okay. Well, that is it for me. Super excited for the NFL season. Just cannot wait. We're finally back. Weekly pods about the NFL are back. I cannot believe that the next pod is going to just be all NFL. We're going to talk about all the things that happened. We're going to do week 1 overreactions. Cannot wait for week 1 overreactions. Thank you.